Arsha Vidya Gurukulam welcomes you to the Janmadyasya Yatah Samvada. We join now as our moderator, Swamini Sri Vidyanandaji, begins the program.
Namaskaram, Swami Tattvavidanandaji, Muktatmanandaji, Swaminis and Swamijis. Friends, over the years, every one of the long-term courses swept us off our feet. Needless to say, it has been no different this time also. In guiding our focus into the inquiry, Swamiji took us to a new dimension, from which we could not but see the truth of it all. In answer to the question, why should one do Brahma Jigyasa, Anusandhanam, Swamiji explained that Shravanam and Mananam are in the presence of the Acharya, with this guidance, whereas in Nididhyasanam, you are by yourself. With yourself, be a light unto yourself. And invoke the wisdom from within. This is Anusandhanam. Today, in this hallowed hall, fittingly set with the Gurukulam backdrop as the background, 4 newly minted sannyasins will recapture some of Swamiji's inspiring discourses and refresh our memories. Discussion begins with Dharmartha Kama. Please give them your blessings. Shall we begin the Samvada, please?
Yes. Namaskaram. Shruti says to undertake Brahma Jigyasa, inquiry about Brahman, because Brahman is other than Dharma and Adharma. So the Dharma Jigyasa statement by Jaimini Maharishi cannot work, because Dharma here is defined as Vedic rituals by Jaimini. Later, ethics and morality were added to the scope of Dharma. In the triad of Dharmartha Kama, Artha, which is procuring wealth, and Kama, sense pleasures, become a bondage to humans. They become bondage to humans, therefore, there should be Dharma in our lives.
But then, since the scope of Dharma is there, and if Dharma is good enough, gives everything we need, then why should Brahma Jigyasa at all?
Swamini Bodhanandaji, without Brahma Jigyasa, life is a waste. It is a search for reality. Dharma, Artha, Kama are not real. They are fleeting and terminated by time. Reality is not touched by time. Yat Nityam Tat Satyam.
Also, Swaminiji, because Dharma will take you only to heaven, which is again Artha Kama. To come to moksha, put the Trivarga, which is Dharma, Artha and Kama, aside. Without the search for moksha, which is the Brahma Jigyasa, life will be full of misery.
Yes, true, Satyanandji. The inner dimension, Brahman, is silence, peace, unafraid, untouched. That kind of reality is you, in you. So you have to pursue Brahma Jigyasa. The premise of Brahma Jigyasa is that the world is full of unhappiness because of ignorance. If you remove ignorance, by the search for truth, world can be a paradise.
So then, Swaminiji, what is that Brahman that we should know?
Premanandji, Brahman is the biggest, Atyant Brihat. It is not subject to the parameters of time, transcends space. Objects cannot touch Brahman. Brahman is a name to the nameless. It is a name you could use as a pointing finger to the real. The definition of the real is what is real. Yat sat, tat satyam.
Science talks about matter. Its study of mind is not as concrete as matter because mind is very subtle. Science does not speak about awareness, the knowing element you are talking about. For people, instinctively, the real is outside. It can be observable and describable. Is this not more practical?
No, Swamiji. It's important to know the limitations of matter. And then there is a reality from matter, free from matter. When we say Brahman is the real, we are familiar with the word, but the word is not the thing. The feeling is Brahman, and not the word. It has to become a reality for you.
Okay, to understand the limitations of matter, look at this scenario. The universe is a collection of objects, which is matter in my consciousness. When I say is, that something belongs to the realm of space as form and in the mind as time as the known. When I say is not, the absence is also known as something that is not known. Further, whatever is limited in space is limited in time. That is a law of Vedanta, and therefore unreal. It cannot constitute the reality. It could be an appearance. A collection of appearances is the universe. Is that correct?
Yes, you are right, Premanandaji. But remember, there is something beyond consciousness and universe which supports both. Necklace is the name and form. Gold supports it, and yet it is beyond the necklace. So gold is immanent and yet transcendent. You are a conscious being. There is a real in you which supports you and the universe. You do not know that because you are caught in the experiences within you. It is game played by the mind. The real is always with you.
Ludwig Wittgenstein said, "What lies beyond words, you pass over in silence." Swamiji made a statement to elsewhere, "Yato vacho nivartante," does not have conditions required for verbal expressions. Therefore, Brahman is inexplicable. To express the inexplicable, the process of neti-neti is used, as in, Brahman is not an object that exists. It is existence itself, the essence of all things. Therefore, it is supremely available. End quote.
Srinivasanandaji, you said feeling is Brahman, not the word. What must one do to feel that feeling? I live in the world of words and words and words. So how can I go beyond the words to feel that feeling, that Brahman?
Premanandaji, when you hear the word Brahman, you should be able to connect with that inner reality in you. Mind and the universes are states that appear in the real. They are dipoles and always appear in pairs. Brahman upholds the mind and universe. It is complete in itself. Mind and universe are in the realm of space-time and hence unreal. Brahman is the source of all and in all. Learn to feel it. When I say the real, you have to go beyond the mind and the universe which is the immediate. Then you become aware of the inner reality, which is Brahman.
Mind is capable of accomplishing the impossible, or so it seems. That being so, can it not prove Brahman within itself? Can it not indicate how it can be reached or felt?
Swamiji, Brahman cannot be proved within the mind, for it is unknown and unknowable by the mind. And outside the mind, it need not be proved. reality is not a result of a process or effort. Going beyond the immediate is a process, which is karma resulting in phalam and so on, and therefore time bound.
Also, Swaminiji, you can reach Brahman by looking within. It will transport you to the frontiers of the known, the edge of memory. Bring all the known and unknown to the surface of mind and negate them. Now you are in the embrace of that reality.
The topic now turns to the all-important point of Lakshanam, definition of Brahman. The players will scrutinize the pot clay, snake rope, and dream-waking examples Swamiji expounded on threadbare.
What is the Lakshanam? Definition of this Brahman. Why not describe just its attributes?
We cannot, because there is a difference between the two. Attributes differentiates one thing from another thing of the same class, whereas definition differentiates the thing from everything. To arrive at the definition, we have to start with the Jagat, because Sutra says Janmadyasya Yatah, which means from which Brahman, this birth, etc., of the world appears to have come.
Remember what Swamiji said, Bodhanandaji? Shruti says, Jagat Karanatva Rupa Lakshana. Brahman being the cause of Jagat is the definition. Clay is the cause, pot the effect. Similarly, if Brahman is the cause of this Jagat, then Jagat becomes an effect. Isn't there a blemish somewhere in this thesis?
Oh yes, there certainly is, Swamiji. Don't you see that the definition invokes Karya Karana Bhava, the Karana Karya Bhava, the cause-effect relationship? There is a problem in this. If pot was caused by clay in the sense of transformational cause, then clay, which is the cause, perishes. So too Brahman, as transformational cause, will have to transform.
No, I don't see a problem here. What if Brahman has to transform?
Swamiji, transformation as a Lakshana of Brahman is unacceptable, because only insentient matter can transform. If Brahman becomes matter, it will be insentient. That is why we say screen is that on which the unreal movie appears. Just as screen upholds the movie, similarly Brahman upholds the unreal Jagat.
Satyanandaji, you say if Brahman is the transformational cause, it will become insentient. Now, the question is, even if Brahman is the efficient cause and sentient, how will it become the cause of the universe? Where will it get the wherewithal to create?
A good question, Swamiji. Brahman, which is sentient, is the cause of the universe. If you ask what material it used, it did not, because Brahman created the Jagat out of itself. It is both the material and efficient cause of the Jagat.
Yes, Premanandji. Listen to this model Swamiji cited. In dream experience, the experiencer and the experienced are you. Subject and object is you. Material and efficient cause is you. You are creating a world out of yourself. In the same way, Brahman creates the Jagat out of itself. So the unreal Jagat created by Brahman is similar to the dream world you created. Therefore, you must be that Brahman, Tattvamasi.
I am still confused about the Lakshanam, definition of Brahman. How do you define Brahman? How and as what does one understand it?
My dear Guru Bhai, it is like this. Lakshanam definition helps you to understand a thing. Satyam Jnanam Anantam is Swarupa Lakshanam of Brahman, because it applies directly to the defined. But that is not what is meant here. Here it is Tatastha Lakshanam, the definition to the relative standpoint in relation to the absolute.
It is like pointing finger. Swamiji cited Shakha Chandra Nyayam, the tree branch and moon as an example. tree branch is the definition to the moon. It has no connection whatsoever to the moon, and yet it helps to locate the moon. It is superimposed on the moon. The definition for Brahman can be arrived at only in this way because the Brahman is unknown and unknowable. It is not a thing, so you superimpose the Jagat.
So then, Swamiji, what you are saying is that from which the Jagat takes birth, is sustained by, and resolves into, is the definition for Brahman? Tell me this. Has anyone seen the Jagat taking birth from Brahman? How Brahman is sustaining it? How it resolves into Brahman? What proof is there for this?
Swamiji, the act and locus of all that is happening is superimposed on Brahman. So Brahman is supremely accessible all around. When you see the birth of a fruit or a bird, it points to Brahman. Brahman is that because of which birth, sustenance, and resolutions appear to happen. This is proof enough, isn't it?
Yes.
Brahman is the efficient cause, is clear. But how is it the material cause? For instance, can the kulala, the pot maker, ever be the material cause of a pot? How absurd that is. If the clay were to have a human mind, this is what it will say. Listen, this is very interesting.
I am Sri Mert, Mr. Clay. Please accept my pranams, Swamijis and seekers. The Kulala made this pot out of clay. Look at it. I am all over it. The top, the bottom, inside, outside, all around. It looks like me, feels like me, sounds like me, tastes like me, and smells like me. It's born of me, sustained by me, and when it breaks, resolves into me. It has a different name and form, but still, it is me. Pot cannot exist without me. Since its existence is insubstantial, it is as good as non-existent. Therefore, pot is negated. Name and form is mere verbal existence. Clay alone is satyam, the truth. Do you see the implication here? Lo, I alone remain. Behold, I alone am. I am. I am. I am.
So, coming back to our discussion, just as the pot appears on the locus of clay and snake on the rope, so too the Jagat appears on the locus of Brahman.
But the question is not about some crackpot, an old clay, or a slimy snake and rope. How is Brahman the material cause? That is the doubt. Since you brought up the topic of snake and rope, tell us also, what's the material cause of snake? Is it not the egg laid by the mother snake? Like this one? Audience, tell us, isn't the egg the material cause of the snake?
Yes. The rope snake has its material cause in your consciousness. Because of ignorance, you see snake where there is only a rope. What you see and call as Jagat has its material in ignorance, which is upheld by Brahman. Ignorance makes you see a Jagat in the locus of Brahman, but it is merely an appearance and therefore unreal, just as the snake you see on the rope is unreal.
Swamini, that is why Bhashyakara Shankaracharya tries to get the point across about the snake rope again and again. Because humans see snake, danger, all the time, everywhere. Suppose you see someone as an adversary. You are seeing a snake in your consciousness. Convert the adversary into a friend, and then there are no enemies or even friends. There is only divinity. This is the vision of snake rope example. This is the spirit of the sutra, Janmadyasya Yatah.
Much discussion went on about the Jagat being an appearance. If the Jagat is appearing, what really is appearing? Brahman alone is appearing in this way as the Jagat. Everything that is false must in reality be the real Brahman. Isn't that true?
So, how is the Jagat presented to you? Is it presenting itself before you as, look, I am the Jagat?
No. I see it, therefore it is there. The faculty to see the Jagat is in me. I pull the Jagat into the field of knowingness, and it is made known to me by the operation of the sense organs. My experiencing of the Jagat is relative to the sense organs and mind. For example, he is my son, is relative, he is a human being, is absolute. This relative Jagat is the definition to Brahman. This Jagat is an effect. It originated like a pot from the clay. Jagat is not original. It is limited by space and time. So from what did it originate? Is a thing it originated from also space-time bound?
Premanandaji, that is the Yatah the Sutra talks about. It points to the cause, which is Brahman. No, Brahman is not bound by space-time, since space-time is part and parcel of the appearance on Brahman. Brahman is spaceless and timeless, and space-time is an apparitional cause on Brahman. The Jagat is in flux, it is multifarious, and Brahman is one without the second.
What kind of cause is Brahman, if at all it's a cause? When all names and forms, the effect, is negated, then Brahman loses its status as a cause. What will happen then? Players will take up the movie and light example to discuss the topic.
As pointed out earlier, Brahman is Vivarta Karanam, apparitional cause. For example, the movie is born, sustained, and ends in the light. Light is the cause which is not transformational. It is apparitional. Similarly, the Jagat happens due to the apparitional cause of Brahman. Brahman is not physical light, like the movie light. It is sentient, in the heart as the knowingness. You are the source of that knowingness. So Brahman is in you, Tattvamasi.
If Brahman is apparitional cause of the Jagat, then Jagat will become unreal like the movie. How will it survive or exist?
Premanandaji, take a look at the light and movie example. If light is the apparitional cause of the movie world, then all that you see on the screen has to be just an appearance. Similarly, since Brahman is the apparitional cause of the Jagat also is just an unreal appearance. Know the real, which is Brahman. In knowing Brahman as the real, you will know the unreal Jagat as unreal. Therefore, examine the apparitional cause.
Brahman is nirvisesham, has no particularities or attributes. This has to be highlighted in your mind. Brahman is not a thing with attributes. You can prove this because you are it. When you wake up, you have no attributes. But then later on, you put all kinds of attributes such as I am father, I am boss, and so on.
If Brahman is devoid of attributes or particularities, then how can you give any definition to it?
That is why the Shruti says to follow the cardinal principle of Vedanta, which is Adhyaropa apavadyapyam nishprapancham prapanchate. Superimpose attributes provisionally. Since it is provisional, it will be negated eventually. Let's go back to a trusted snake and rope example, the rope example, to arrive at the definition of Brahman. Swaminiji, please bring a rope to tie this bag.
Snake, snake. Snake, long, big, this thick. I'm still panting for breath.
Swamini ji, take it easy. You are safe now. We will take care of this problem later.
Thank you.
Don't be afraid, Swamini ji. It is not a snake. See this, Swamiji and friends, it's only a rope. But looks like a snake in semi-darkness and scares the daylight out of you. Here, it's only a rope. Hold it. Oh.
Okay.
Has the snake become definition for the rope?
Not a real snake, Satyanandaji. The imagined snake. The snake superimposed on the rope becomes the definition for the rope.
But then from where did the unreal snake come from?
Bodhanandaji, it came from illusion, therefore it is mithya, unreal. The myth put in place by illusion brings about something unreal. Corrected mistake becomes definition for rope. The snake is caused by the rope. So snake is a definition for the rope.
Premanandaji, we can understand how rope can be the cause of the snake because we see rope and it looks something like the snake. But Brahman, which is nowhere to be seen becoming cause of Jagat, is hard to swallow.
Satyanandaji, if I understood what Swamiji said, it is like this. The rope upholds the illusion of snake. Rope being similar to snake not only upholds but also pervades the snake. Similarly, Brahman not only upholds every particle of this mithya Jagat, but it also pervades and interpenetrates it.
Where is that Brahman? Where will we find that Brahman, Swamiji?
That's very easy. Where do you see the snake, Swaminiji? On the rope, right? So too you will see Brahman in the Jagat. The one who pervades and interpenetrates the unreal is the Adhisthana, the ground for the unreal. Jagat cannot stand by itself. Snake cannot stand on its own without the rope. You cannot say that the snake is because it is only an appearance. What is Brahman.
So, if I understood correctly, you are saying that Brahman causes the appearance of the Jagat? Am I right? Okay. So, let us look at the definition of rope snake. The definition of rope snake is swa atyanta abhave adhishthane bhasamanatvam mithya. The locus upon which the snake is absent, yet shines on it.
I understand now. The unreal snake becomes a pointer, definition of the rope. Similarly, the unreal Jagat is a pointer, definition of Brahman.
Yes. From what we hear, it seems like Jagat is an appearance on Brahman, and that Brahman is the cause of that appearance. Jagat is a mere appearance, means it has to be unreal. Then what is the status of the cause? Can there be a cause without an effect? What kind of cause can Brahman be?
Swamiji, Brahman as one without a second, as the Adhishthana, support of all, this is how the cause of Jagat, Brahman, helps to appreciate divinity in everything.
Yes, I understand what the Jagat is. It is differentiated by names and forms, Nama, Rupa. For example, the world of ornaments is only gold. Gold is differentiated as multiple ornaments, which are names and forms, and yet remains as one. They are nothing but gold. In and through, above and below, all over. Here is our friend Swarnamayi. She will tell us what exactly gold and ornaments are, because she is the very gold itself.
I am Swarnamayi, golden form. My pranams to Swamijis and the students. I am alone and so very lonely. So, as Taittiriya Upanishad said, so kamayat bahusyam prajayayeti. I desired to become many, and so I did. Lo, behold, a sparkling necklace I create to lace my neck, bracelet to adorn my arm, the shining earring. They all shine like I do, look like I do, feel like I do. I give existence to them, sustain them. Oh, what a wonder this is. And when melted, they resolve into me. But alas, they are mere appearances on me. Unreal names and forms, verbal existence, and I'm their substratum. That means they're just as good as non-existent. So, I alone am. Wow. I alone am. I am. I am. I am.
Another round of applause for Swarnamayi. Swamiji's explanation of a verse in Ashtavakra Gita has relevance to this gold and ornament example. Mayananta mahambodhau ascharyam jiva vichayah udhyanti khelanti pravishanti swabhavataha. In paraphrasing the meaning Swamiji gave, in me, the limitless ocean of consciousness, waves of living beings rise, quarrel, and play for a time and disappear. A variety of ornaments appearing on gold remains for a time and then disappears. Now, should we look at it as unfortunate? Perhaps not. Does Jagat share the same fate, an appearance? Let us listen.
Swamiji explained further about Jagat. It is the source of all actions and results. There is a structure in Jagat. Actions and results are well regulated by internal causes. Just because it is unreal does not mean it is chaotic. It is well regulated in space-time causation.
Then perhaps our vision about the Jagat should undergo a transformation from as a place of enjoyment to as something divine. As the Shruti says, Manasapi achintya rachana rupasya. The appearance which is the Jagat, its glory cannot be conceived or described. You cannot visualize the complexity of the Jagat. It is boundless, indescribable, limitlessly vast. When you look at its magnificence, it will take you to its origin. In that looking, you get connected to the reality. This is the vision of the Rishi.
Swamiji, there are some interesting points to take now note of about Brahman, because of which everything in this Jagat, from an atom onwards, shines. That is Brahman. It is a substratum of all that appears and yet distinct from them. Substratum is always present in the appearance. To realize this Brahman, all you have to do is to negate the appearance of Jagat, and Brahman shines as the one without the second. It is just like negating the superimposed snake to know the rope.
Furthermore, Srinivasanandaji, it is said Brahman is where you see the Jagat. Every particle of Jagat is nothing but Brahman alone. That being so, if the appearance of Jagat is negated, all that remains will be void. That creates problem.
No, Premanandaji, there is no problem. I remember Swamiji saying that when everything is negated, the void that is left behind is silence, which is not mere void, but the fullness of nothingness, which is Brahman.
The wonder that is the universe, wonder that is Brahman, is beyond the comprehensions of the human mind. Yet, we drag it down to the level of our insignificant mind and try to make it a topic of discussion. What result will it lead? Will it yield? Let us pay attention.
Atma is direct perception. It is Ananda Swarupa. Yet I fail to see happiness in me. How? Why? Because as long as the focus is on enjoyment, I cannot see happiness. This attitude of attachment and aversion due to enjoyment should be replaced by the wonder of the structure in the Jagat.
Yes, Satyanandaji, wonder connects you to the real. It is a bridge to the real. When there is wonder, you are not there. And when you are not there, reality is. Pashya devasya kavyam. See the poetry of God. Na mamara na jiryati. The forests, rivers, mountains do not age.
Yes, so true, Swamiji. We have to learn to see the poetry of God in everything we see. That is the vision. We are different in body and mind, but we are one as the being, which is Atman, Brahman. Can you fathom the implication of this? That glorious Brahman is in each one of us as aham iti sakshat atma rupena bhati. Therefore, we can experience our divinity now and here because we are that essentially.
But unfortunately, Bodhanandaji, we don't feel the divinity due to Maya. It covers up the divinity in us. But the saving grace is we can discover it by negating Maya, which is name and form. As the verse says, Hiranamayena patrena satyasya apahitam mukham. The golden disc covers the face of truth.
What are these names and forms, Premanandji?
That which divides you from the real is name and form. When not looked at wisely, they become the bane in our lives. Their plurality and diversity are play of the mind.
Also, Swaminiji, all existence has its origin in the existence absolute, which is Brahman. One existence absolute, when obstructed by the prism of mind, appears as multiple. The boundless being, Brahman, is felt only when names and forms are looked at without the prism of mind and you feel connected with it.
The topic now turns to Brahman as all-knowing and all-powerful. Shankaracharya uses the word Ishvara to mean both Nirguna and Saguna Brahman. The commonly understood definition of Ishvara is that it is omnipotent, which is infinite power, omnipresent, infinite existence, and omniscient, infinite knowledge. Brahman cannot be viewed through the lens of time, space, and causality, because causality implies Brahman is bound by the fabric of space-time.
How then do we understand Brahma as Sarvagnya, all-knowing, and Sarv Shakti, all-power?
Premanandaji, the sutra Janmadyasya Yatah points to the cause of Jagat. Yatah means material cause. There are two attributes to the cause, Sarvagnyam and Sarvashakti. Swamiji explained that we may think Sarvagyam defined as Sarvam Janati iti Sarvagyam, which means one that knows all is like the pot maker who knows all about making the pot. That would imply that Brahman created the universe by knowing all. But dal mein kala hai.
Swamiji, actually it is interesting to note that Sarvajnam is a Karmadhara Samasa, meaning Sarvancha Tat Nyapti Swarupam. Sarvam here means the isness in the Jagat, referring to Sat. The Nyapti Swarupa is Chit, referring to the knowing element that upholds the appearance of the Jagat. Therefore, Sarvajna means Sat Chit of Brahman.
Premanandji, what is Sarva Shakti?
From the omnipotent Brahma, the Jagat originated. It is Saguna Brahma, which is Sarva Shakti, infinite power. The cosmic soul is his power. It is easy to appreciate the unity of this power through the laws of nature. The entire Jagat is a display of this power, which points to the glory of Brahman.
It is hard to comprehend how this multifarious Jagat, this manyness appearing on the one without a second, can be mithya.
Mithya?
Yes, mithya. The finite Jagat appears on the infinite Brahman. That finite Jagat is mithya. It is space, time, movement appearing in the motionless, begins in the beginningless and ends in the endless.
And now, an interesting turn in the topic, Brahma Avagati. In order to arrive at Brahma Avagati, realization of Brahman, intellect is the major hindrance. How it is a hindrance will be discussed now.
Ishvara arrived at by Anuman is Kalpeta, or remains, Kalpeta is imagination, or remains as Paroksha, mediate. Vedanta talks about Pratyaksha Ishvara, direct perception, that which is felt within.
But then the Ishvara, which Upanishad talks about as Sarva Shakti, is not direct perception. The Mahavakya Tattvamasi may be kept in mind but not understood. What about such instances?
Swamini-ji, even if these are not Pramana Vakyas in the Upanishad, the cardinal principle in Vedanta is that it must be Pratyaksha. Paroksha gives intellectual understanding of Ishvara. This is reasoning and logic. Vedanta Vichara Vakyas help to go beyond the intellect to arrive at realization.
Swamiji, are you saying that reasoning and logic should not be employed?
No, Satyananda-ji, this is not the premise. What is meant is to use the head, the intellect when needed, and then bring it to the heart.
Brahma Avagati, realization of Brahman. Your fullness is always with you as a flicker. Make it steady. Your Swarupa is fullness. So you experience it. Deep-seated ignorance covers it up. Avagati is not established by intellectual understanding, which is mere knowledge.
Swamiji, When we can know most things through intellectual understanding, then why not Brahman also?
Mind and the intellect wants to know, seeks answers to questions all the time. The power of knowing has its limitations. To satisfy its curiosity, intellect uses 3 grips: why, when, and where. It wants to know why fire, because of smoke; where, inside the mountain; when, now. Space-time causation is now in place.
Knowing a thing means you catch the thing with 3 grips. With reference to Brahman, intellect cannot ask why, where, when, because Brahman transcends space, time, and causation. It is beyond the intellect, but intellect can create a lot of noise and obstruction.
Yes, Swamiji. Where, when, and why is sum and substance of Maya. Even though Brahman is beyond Maya, but still the phenomenal power of Maya is capable of creating obstruction, and it does. So how can Avagati be accomplished?
Swamiji, if mind is filled with knowledge, it becomes a hindrance. So by making the mind turn inwards, away from Maya, you can realize that which is already with you. Brahma Avagati is a discovery, and for that, look within with an open mind.
What is Maya continues to mystify scholars and seekers through centuries, because it is not available for categorical classification. Anirvachaniya. It is not a thing, cannot say it exists or doesn't exist. Can our players and audience solve the mystery?
What is this Maya that everybody talks about? That
Maya?
baffles everybody?
Maya? Maya? Explain it, please, Premanandaji.
Attributeless, spaceless, causeless Brahman appears as Maya.
Not clear, Swaminiji. Please elaborate.
Ya ma sa Maya. Whatever is not there is Maya.
Pranam Swaminiji. You said whatever is not there is Maya. Means what, Swaminiji?
The multifarious Jagat is Maya Kalpita. So everything with form, bound by space-time causation, is not there.
Can you please clarify with an example, Satyanandaji?
In the example, the whirling of Alata, the whirling is the cause, which is Maya, cause of the appearance of Jagat. It is Shakti, movement, the power.
Swamiji, but how? What relevance does the whirling Alata Chakra has with the Jagat?
With reference to Jagat, the whirling is replaced by the movement of mind. Mind is Ajnana, ignorance. So it takes what is not there, an appearance, the unreal as real. Therefore it is Maya.
What is unreal?
The multifarious Jagat.
How is it unreal, Srinivasanandaji?
Well, the phenomenal power associated with Maya makes you believe there is Jagat, but it is unreal, a shadow. Swami Vivekananda said, Maya is not a theory, it's a statement of fact of Jagat.
Are you sure this glittering Jagat we see is not there? It is unreal?
Yes, it is unreal like the dream.
No Jagat? It is unreal? A shadow? A dream? But what about Brahman? The Brahman?
No. Brahman is not cause of Jagat. When there is no effect, which is the Jagat, then the cause, Brahman, loses its status as the cause.
But when did this happen, Premanandaji?
The question when is wrong, because it implies time, and Brahman is not subject to time.
But then Brahman must be somewhere Right, Swaminiji?
Once again, the question where does not apply to Brahman because it implies space and Brahman transcends space.
Then what is this Brahman, Satyanandaji?
The question what implies an object, a thing. When all things are Brahman, upheld by Brahman, where is the question of Brahman being a thing?
Space, time, objects appear in and by the illumination of Brahman. That which lights up all things, everywhere, all times, is Brahman. Sarvam khalvidam Brahma.
Yes, indeed, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahman. With utmost clarity, Swamiji presented the vision of the Shruti. The undeniable presence, Brahman, shines by its own light. It is existence itself. When Brahman degenerates down to the level of Jagat, that happening is called causation. This is the origination of Jagat from Brahman. As the text says, Janmadyasya Yatah. And now, Swaminis and friends, this segment of the teaching concludes with one of Swamiji's most apt and uplifting statements. Where the shadow of death follows birth, and behind all is the timeless Brahman. Unquote. Swamiji, may we please request you to give the Anugraha Bhashanam.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Atmaswarupa Bandhugana. This idea that such a Samvada, a Vedantic discussion can be presented on the stage never occurred to me at any time. It is not my idea. It is entirely the original idea of Swamini Sri Vidyanandaji. I was teaching 18th chapter here because the chapter is too big with Bhashya. I divided it into two parts. 1 year first part and the rest, the second part, this next year. And the verse Sarva Dharman Parityajya, it occurs in the second part. And at that verse, there is a very lengthy bhashya of Shankara. In that bhashya, Shankara refutes Sankhya, Vaisheshika, Nayayika and Purvamimamsa theories in addition to Shunyavada and Kshanika Vijnanavada, to name a few important theories or schools of thought. And I was teaching all of that, the teaching was happening, and then it never occurred to me that out of this teaching, out of all this Purvapaksha Siddhanta text, we can make a presentation like this. It occurred to Srimati Swamini Sri Vidyanandaji, and she mentioned it to me. I was amazed. Yes, this is a wonderful, brilliant idea. So, the idea is yours, therefore it is for you to implement it. Because that requires a kind of skill which I totally lack. And hence I requested her to pursue it. At that time she prepared a nice script. It is like a cinema script, a movie script. You have the story, and then somebody has to convert that story into a script. And that is a department by itself, that is a skill by itself. The author who wrote this story, he will not be able to write the script required for the movie. So the story is by somebody and the script is by somebody else. If you follow the movie, it is always like that. Because the story cannot come onto the stage the way it is. It has to be converted into a script that can be presented on the stage. And that job was very diligently done by Swamini, Sri Vidyanandaji, and it was presented at that time. For the first time, it was presented. I have a feeling such a thing was not done even in India at any time. And it was done for the first time. In India, we study these bhashyas with so much of love and fervor, no doubt about it. There are many great scholars who are well versed with these bhashyas. They study, they teach, they're experts. But nobody presented this kind of a Samvada on the stage the way it is done here. This is a historic, and it was done for the first time in that 18th chapter, second part course. And the course was not 5 weeks, the course was 8 or 10 weeks courses they were. And that was very successful presentation. And that started a series. Then I was teaching Adhyasa Bhashya last year. Adhyasa Bhashya and Athato Brahma Jigyasa, the first sutra. There also, you do not find like Purvapaksha Siddhanta kind of structure as you find it in 18th chapter Bhashya. But there are many kyatis, asat khyati, akhyati, atma khyati, anyatha khyati. These are all there in the Adhyasa Bhashya. And then Brahma Jigyasa itself is a very big topic. And there are not many Purvapaksha Siddhanta kind of arrangement in that. Again, Swaminiji mentioned to me that we can make a presentation based on this. This time I was not surprised because these kyatis are there. So 5 kyatis are there, 5 or 4. And 4 of them well dressed like Swamis can present the kyatis. And a few other things added on this side and that side. That becomes a Samvada. By now I got the feel of Samvada. So it went on that way. And the script was prepared and it went on nicely. And everybody enjoyed it. It is a unique thing. Nobody is doing this kind of thing. And then this year, I never felt that it can be done anything like this because you do not find much of a Purvapaksha Siddhanta kind of discussion in Janmadyasya Yatah. But a kind of arrangement, the scriptwriter has made that kind of a scheme because of which this was made possible. I was following the entire Samvada in the last 45 minutes and it occurred to me, so much was taught in this 1 month. All this was taught. How it all this happened? And I could not believe myself, so much happened. Then there is only one explanation, how so much could happen. Only one explanation, and that is Janmadyasya Yatah. That explains everything. So we feel that we are not doing anything. Everything happens by the will of that supreme power. And this kind of an effort of converting the teaching into a Samvada of this nature and then presenting it with a lot of energy, love and dedication, bringing the rope snake example alive, and then bringing the pot clay example into the shape is something unique, and it requires a lot of intelligence, lot of original thinking, that creative thinking is required. And that is what is called creative thinking. For example, that gold, Swarnamayi, a very good name is given and that is presented, very good script and very well presented by the Amma also. So this is what I mean, creative intelligence. And you pursue this creative intelligence, it is not difficult at all to experience or to feel deeply within the glory of Brahman in all that is around us and in all that happens around us, only we should stop dividing the events, the happenings, etc., into good and evil, or good and bad. We should stop that kind of a division if we can stop. And don't say anything as good or evil. And everything happens, understand everything happens and everything appears by only one power, the supreme will, and that is Brahman. And wherever you see something is taking birth, a bird or a animal or a human or even a sprout of grass, as it is taking birth, it is an indicator or it is a pointer to Brahman. And all life that is sustained in this universe is a pointer to that Brahman. And the death of anything, anywhere, is a pointer to that Brahman. And so that vision has been brought out very well in this Samvada, and even this Samvada happens because of that glory of that Ishvara. That is how I feel it, and it is very gratifying and a very fulfilling evening. And so I thank all the other people also who are behind the screen, who have made all these arrangements possible. Not only all these people who are on the dais, but there were many other people who were behind the scenes, and they worked hard and made this possible. And all glory to Srimati Swamini ji and her lieutenants or her followers. And so I once again congratulate all of them, and so have a good day. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.
Thank you, Swamiji. Now we have a few things to take care of. Friends, as you all know, Swamiji shies away from praise. To that, Swamiji, all we can say is that it is part of your occupational hazard. Swamiji, but how else can we convey our deep gratitude for the tireless hours you've been giving us year after year? How else can we tell you that your guidance has been a life-changing journey, qualitatively, providing value to our lives and a sense of direction and hope? How else can we verbalize that your words have taken on a deeper dimension in all of us? Your compassion and wisdom have been an anchor for all of us, Swamiji. And so it is with immense gratitude we say, Danyoham, 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 for all that you do for us. Now, I invite you all to please applaud our players, the Swaminiji and Swamijis, for their tremendous role playing. Bindu as Bodhanandaji, our snake charmer. Prem as Premanandaji, Srinivas as Srinivasanandaji, and Satish as Satyanandaji. And here is our glittering Swarnamayi, Pratima, and Srimrit Thomas. Needless to say, their roles added an interesting flavor of excitement to the Samvada, right? Players, please go back to your places. Now, don't you agree that the Samvada would never have been the same without audience participation? It really made a difference, didn't it? In that, the novelty added an element of surprise. Please, as they come out, show them your appreciation. Chandra. Jagadish. Vidya. Raji. Maria. And what is a play without a script, right? Usha and Chandrasekhar Swaminathan have been formatting, printing, and compiling the program booklets for all the Samvadas we've had so far. And here is Chandrasekhar. Usha is not able to be with us today. And to set the stage with all the elegance is not only labor-intensive, but also an art. And here are our artists. Francisco. And Jagadish, take a bow. Karthik, Randy, and James are unable to be here. And finally, our master professionals, wielding light and sound to their best advantage, presented amazing special effects, thus adding an element of fantasy. Here they are, the indispensable audio-video team. Chitra, Sahadevji, and Chaitanya. I hope I have not forgotten anybody. Pardon? Oh, yes. How could I forget our glittering Swarnamayi Pratima and Srimrit Thomas. I'm sorry about that. Now, in closing, I'm sure this segment of the Brahma Sutra classes have been an inspiring 5 weeks for all of you. As you continue to do Nididhyasanam, please evoke Swamiji's insightful words. Freedom is Brahma Swarupa, the state of inner calm the teaching seeks to bring. Stay with the vision, Swamiji said, and imbibe it, unquote. And now, Swamijis, Swaminis, and friends, this speaker takes leave for the last time with a grateful heart for your support and encouragement during the Samvadas over the past few years. And I offer prayerful wishes for Bhagavan's grace to abide in all of you, always and in all ways. Namaskaram. And finally, there is one last important matter to take care of. Swamiji, may I borrow and rephrase your rather amusing example about photographs? Now, as we are trying to convert the past into the present, to experience it in the imaginative future, Swamiji, we request you to please join all these devoted seekers assembled on the stage for a photo op. Anybody, everybody with the cameras, this is your chance. Take some good ones so we can put them in our next year's anniversary booklet.
Present into the past.
And now, friends, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Please come and stand somewhere in the center. No, don't sit, don't sit.